Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still running Persia. We're still pretty far behind technologically and all that, but we're gonna do our best to get rolling. Now, I think I looked into taking over Kunduz, but I can't do that yet because I don't want to get up over 25 infamy, because that could cause me a problem. I got low organization in the first army because of low supply, because I got skirmish infantry in there. So, where are these units? These are all located here in Uzbekia. So I think the answer to that is we build ourselves a trade center. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be 8 weeks? What the heck? Oh, just because of the turmoil and all. Wait, I can deal with that. Remove a consumption tax, and we'll do a road maintenance decree. Did I start incorporating? Yes. Oh, it's gonna take a long time to incorporate this area. Alright, well, them's the breaks. That is the nature of the beast. I'm in the process of researching colonization, so it's only a year and a quarter before I can start colonizing Turkmenia. I've also got a little bit of authority available. Oh, I've got a lot of bonuses to cheaper decrees. So actually, let's go ahead and promote social mobility in Tabriz. And what that will do is that will allow me to get these new buildings that I built staffed faster. I'm working on iron mines here. Let's take a quick look at population. These folks are mostly Sunni and Uzbek. And I don't have promote national values because I haven't researched nationalism yet. But I can still do suppression. That's not ideal. Enlistment efforts, that is not useful to me at present. Can I do a manufacturing industry decree? And if so, where? Do I do it here? I think the answer is yes. Where is it? Here we go. So for those of you who are familiar will know with the channel, know that I'm not a huge decrees person. I don't tend to use decrees all that much. I find that I'm often playing a country that is too large for them to matter. Now, Kokand, I could also take. They're conciliatory towards me, but relations are quite bad. Some interesting options. Credit where credit's due. The recent investment in Iraqi Ajami production at our tooling workshops has raised the question of who should get the credit for the boost in production. Where would we be without our money, our factories, and our goods? Let all those in the nation know the work and struggle of those who participated to make this great feat possible. Credit the industrialists, stronger industrialists. This is a victory for the workers, stronger trade unions, or focus this on someone else. The petite bourgeoisie, but the industrialists and trade unions are mad. I'm just going to credit the industrialists. I think that's a nice, safe option for the time being. Cause without a rebel. Although Nawaz Gharmani is still fighting for his cause, no one is following him anymore. Despondent, Gharmani has started publicly remarking that he may give up on his activism altogether. What's the point? Speakers we have any speak to empty halls and in empty chairs. There's no crowds and no banners. If anyone pays attention at all, they never understand anything we're preaching. What reason is there to stay here? We're all stuck doing nothing. Perhaps you can find greener pastures. Perhaps Nawaz Gharmani can find greener pastures elsewhere. He's exiled. Or no time for timidity. The movement needs drastic change. 33% chance each he gets the movement. And this is, I believe, the peasant movement. Yes. Gets a gets more movement pop attraction, less movement pop attraction, or increased activism. I'm just going to say he can find greener pastures elsewhere. That's fine with me. He can go. He can bail. He can find himself a place to live that's not here. So hopefully, with the trade center now available, let's actually put an import subsidy on ammunition. Whichever way forward, with the attitudes of the armed forces towards Russia growing more apathetic, their leadership has begun to discuss reassessing the group's support for the Persian-Russian League. It was more difficult to get appointments at the foreign ministry these days. The initial interest they had inspired had long since waned, the lobby's activities falling into Tehran's background noise. The armed forces were the first to lose interest, their representatives initially disheartened by an absence of news, then no longer inclined to read the papers when they arrived. What reason do we have to care for happenings in St. Petersburg? The younger members challenged. The elders did not know how to respond. It's time for a change in course. They leave the league, or why change something that works? They remain. I'm going to let them leave. I think that's fine. I don't necessarily need the Persian-Russian League to be quite strong. I do law changes. I do have the ability to get off of serfdom. Obviously, my landowners would be extremely unhappy about it. I don't want to go to National Guard right now. So I'm going to leave the laws where they are. So after I build up iron, I think the answer is we build more tooling industry. Yeah, I think after iron we build more tooling industry. These tooling workshops, well, they're trying to hire. They're doing their level best. But there'll be more iron available here when it's time for them to expand, and that'll make that easier. So this is a virtuous cycle here. Are my paper mills fully employed? Mostly. The ones in Fars are not. I'm going to build up another level, get them a little bit of a throughput bonus. Wheat farms and rice farms I can't do anything with. Livestock ranches I can't go to slaughterhouses until I've got mechanized, mechanical tools. So that's a struggle. I think one of the things I need to do right now, and I know this is going to upset some of you, but I think I've got to start building universities. So to start, I actually do not have a lot of infrastructure available in the capital at this stage. What about Tabriz? Tabriz also no. Luristan, some. Fars, not much. Ooh, this is difficult. Khorasan, I have some. So let's go ahead and build a production chain of paper. Although the population here is quite small overall. What about Mazandaran? There's some infrastructure here. So tell you what, we'll do it in Mazandaran right now. Although they're going to have reduced construction efficiency. I should be doing... I should be being more conscientious about where I'm doing my road maintenance decrees, because I should always be doing it where I'm currently building. The Tehran Citizens Convention. The peasant movement is convened in Tehran to rally support and publicly discuss the specifics of homesteading. The event has attracted much attention from the locals. Good to see you again. Did you have a good trip? I did. The roads are dreadful this time of year. I was very nearly late, in fact. My compliments to my driver. Good for him. Worth a raise? I would wish. If my pockets have anything left in them by the time the hat comes around, perhaps. What a lively discussion. Reduce political movement activism, stronger movement. Or order this interdicted at once. Weaker movement, 5% of upper stratum pops in Iraqi Ajami become more radical. Interesting. I'm going to do the first one. Having a slightly less active, slightly more powerful peasant movement will be good for us long term. Again, my current short-term goal is to produce enough iron to be able to get all my construction industries over to iron. stuff. I could do more exploitative tobacco stuff. So maybe I'll do that. Interesting. I think I'm going to leave these where they are for now. Sugar plants are not that good. Ooh, I've got access to general training. That's nice. I could also build some coal mines to get gas streetlights. I think I might do that. Gas streetlights outputs what now? It's just more services. Reduce transportation. That can't be right. In fact, I'm sure that's not right. My urban centers are kind of spread out. I've got 12 of them, and this is 2 coal each. So if I build 1 coal mine, that should be sufficient. Let's build this first. Then the paper mills and Fars, and then the Mazandaran universities. I assume my one university is in the capital. No, it's not. Where's my existing university? Uzbekia. Oh, okay. All right. Well, they've been pretty conscientious about building up over there. Anywhere that I'm still short of taxation capacity, a little bit in Kabulistan, but almost none, really. So from here, come on, we'll build those universities. I gotta have a university in the capital, don't I? I think I do. How much do they take infrastructure-wise? Universities only use 1. All right, so we'll build 1 level of university. We'll build another in Tabriz, and another in. Do I want one in Fars? I think so, and then I want one in Khorasan. I know this isn't very efficient from an innovation standpoint, but I need to ensure that I've got qualifications available because I can't use decrees for this forever. Alright, let's go ahead and get our road maintenance decree moved to Fars. Get this paper mill building a little faster. And then once that's done, we'll move them to Mazandaran. Again, I'm trying to be more conscientious about that. Ooh, cash flow is looking weak. Don't like that. Paying a buck in interest. Now I'm starting to slowly produce some amount of porcelain. Undeserved blame. Interesting. Paper mills still trying to function. Some Persian people are unfairly blaming their poor living conditions in Karaman on their Baluchi neighbors. They say that we've taken all the jobs, that we make it impossible for them to earn a fair wage, but we suffer just as much as them. We must learn to live together, reduce authority, or ignore it. -1 standard of living to Baluchi and Karaman. I'm going to say we must all live together. That's going to cost me something. Might have to be a consumption tax. Not a lot of good options here. What are my decrees? What have I got running? I'm still encouraging agriculture industries in Mazandaran. Maybe I can turn that off. Or not agriculture, resource industries. That'll give me enough. Rural folk are no longer influential. Okay. Seems like the peasant movement's gotten weaker, which is unfortunate. Alright, so from here, we'll move our road maintenance decree from Fars to Mazandaran. Gonna tick this up here so that we're getting maximum value out of that decree. That will be good. Have I got any extra iron? Not much. I think I can swap over one more iron frame buildings. So let's pick. Let's do Mazandaran. Wow, that's a very high predicted cost. Wow. Oh, that hurts. It hurts, but I've got to do it. So there's colonization. Beautiful. So now I'm going to hit the Pacify the Turkmens button. It's going to cost us... Wow, that's going to cost us a ton more than it was before. Oh, it's like a percentage of income thing or something. Hold on. Let me put taxes to Midland for a week, and then we'll circle back. No, it doesn't change it. All right, let's hit that button. For too long have the Turkmen tribes to our north been allowed to raid our lands without fear of reprisals. To rectify this injustice, Shah Muhammad Shah has announced the start of a great northern pacification campaign. In pained, rhythmic steps, the chained make their way across the Karakum Desert, its great silence broken only by the occasional jeer of their Turkmen captors and their own plaintive cries. The Alaman has taken us, poor Qizilbash, and carry us, and iron and chains, to Gurgench and Bukhara. Let us show these raiders Persian steel. 40% increased colony growth speed, 19,000 in government expenses for 5 years. 5% of Turkmen pops in Persia become more radical. 2% of Persian pops in Persia become more loyalist. Enables frontier colonization law. So I am a little short on bureaucracy. That's fine. I can grab a government sector and move it over to the more efficient method. In fact, I think I'll do that with both. Isfahan, I may be over capacity, in which case I can simply decrease the number of cobalt deposits. That's cool. Yeah, I'm way over capacity, so I can actually really significantly drop the number of government admins here and be fine. Beautiful. And I've still got plenty of taxation capacity. Awesome. Of course, now I've got an iron shortage. And of course, I'm spending money hand over fist now. But, am I colonizing yet? Is that automatic? It's not automatic. Alright, so I started colonizing these areas. And that's gonna be something. Yeah, I know, but I don't have any territory. I don't have any arable land there, so it's not I can't colonize properly. Do I want to maybe put a pause on government construction? I don't know. It seems like my cash flow situation is really, really terrible right now. Although I am spending 50K on construction goods. So that, it might just be due to that. How's the Second Army? Second Army is fully organized. Alright, beautiful. I think I'm going to upgrade my Hussars in both armies. That should turn them into Lancers, which are better. It's going to make my armies very marginally less, very marginally more expensive, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. We're in a hard spot, friends. I think. Nah, I need to keep, because I got a lot of occupied territory with a lot of radicals in it, so I need to keep policing running. But I think when Mazandaran is finished, we'll pause government construction for the time being. I really, really need to get off traditionalism. Going for the Atmo pump engine is still probably right long term. And the mechanical tools will get us steel tools. Now I have the ability to produce steel mills, I believe. So let's go ahead and build ourselves a coal mine and a steel mill here in Tabriz. I can queue those in. They're not urgent. because we're not going to have mechanical tools for another few years. But we're very slowly increasing our amount of innovation. I think I need to build some iron mines here in Mazandaran, because I think that's going to be critical. I think it's going to be critical long term for me to get my iron situation under control. Are these mines having a hard time hiring? Is that my issue here? I have the ability to go to secular academia. That's unusual. I think in most playthroughs under state religion, you have to do... Oh, interesting. Interesting. So People of the Book makes your churches function like free churches. That's curious. That's quite curious. We are in a contested government now. The Shia Ulema are slowly increasing in strength. Alright, so I think the game plan is we're going to build these iron mines, and then we're going to halt government construction for the time being so that we can chip away at our national debt again. Because our national debt is getting pretty extreme in terms of how much it's costing us each week. Higher learning. The Shah himself has officially opened the University of Mazandaran. Academia is beginning to flourish in Persia. Philosophy is the highest calling of mankind. Through philosophy, we can come to understand the very foundation of metaphysics, the nature of the divine, and the essence of virtue. It stands to reason, then, that only the most enlightened of wisdom seekers are fit to hold power. Society should be ruled by philosopher kings, extra university throughput, and increased political strength of academics. Modern institutions should employ modern methods, free progress on empiricism, or formalize a medical profession, free progress on medical degrees. I'm going to grab the progress on medical degrees. That's going to get us progress towards boosting up the strength of our Shia Ulema. We also have the earning recognition journal entry right now. The status of the progress bar will advance or retreat based on certain conditions. The progress bar reaching 200 will result in Persia becoming a recognized power. For too long has Persia been denied the proper diplomatic recognition by the so-called civilized nations of the world, leaving us vulnerable to their advances and without the ability to properly exercise our own sovereign rights. We should do our utmost to rectify this situation and claim the seat for ourselves at the table as their respected equals. There's hydraulic cranes. I am actually going to increase the method for trade centers. Going back to the journal entry. So here's what we need to do. Enforce a war goal on a major power or above. Have a GDP in the top 10. Have a GDP per capita in the top 20. Have a standard of living in the top 20. Have a literacy rate above 40%. Have voting rights. Or the offer embassy article is active, which is a thing we can do with other countries. It'll retreat by having a war goal enforced on you, having a GDP below the top 30, having a literacy below 20, have slavery, having serfdom, traditionalism, isolationism, or outlawed dissent. Escaping fugitives. A significant group of slaves have risen up and made for the borders of Russia, where slavery is illegal. It is the duty of this government to seize and arrest fugitives and remove them from the territory to which they have fled. Now go out there and do your duty. We shall fund the capture of all fugitives. This costs us bureaucracy and increases the slave revolt movement pop attraction, but makes the landowners happy. Or we will pay for nothing. Makes the landowners mad. I'm actually going to do the first one. This is going to cost me a little bit of bureaucracy. And unfortunately, that means I am going to need to build one more government sector. But I'm going to do it here in Mazandaran. What this will do is it will make my landowners happy enough that I can... Well, first I'm going to throw the Shia Ulema back in power. And then I'm going to go to... I'd be speedrunning depowering the landowners if I went for homesteading, but there's risks to that. So I think we're going to go for tenant farmers. I'm going to enact that, and I'm going to negotiate with the Shia Ulema. The Shia Ulema pour only their best vintage coffee and smoke only their finest tobacco during a polite discussion with the government representatives about tenant farmers. Compromise makes a good umbrella but a poor roof. It is a temporary expedient, often wise in party politics, but almost sure to be unwise in statesmanship. James Russell Lowell. Interesting. So they moved this quote here. I wonder if it's still in the other place as well. Place their members in administrative positions. Increased interest group political strength and pop attraction, but reduce bureaucracy. Grant them some political concessions, which is the same thing as always. Or vow to improve the lives of common people. I'm just going to give them political concessions again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh wow, landowners are extremely mad. They're mad -8. All right, so this could be a bit of a challenge. But it's okay. Getting rid of serfdom will eliminate this serfdom line item here. And that's a thing we need to make progress on. All right, that government building is built. Let's go ahead and pause government construction for the moment. Oh, I'm not liking that number. I'm not liking that number one bit. Is my government building... Okay, they're still hiring. They're still hiring. If I can get above 100, we should be good, or above 0, we should be good to go. All right, we're gonna be fine. But this I'm afeared of. This is making me feel very afeared. I did not realize the interest situation had gotten so extreme. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to drop down the government and military wages again. And I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to go to high taxes. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to chip away at this interest. Ooh, actually, before I do that... I think I need to... Oh, I can do sweeteners for my food industries. I'm going to set all of my industry, my standard line industry, to privatize. I think that was something I wasn't thinking about. I'm so used to it being kind of the default that I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm going to leave the arms industry government-owned for now. But farms, livestock ranches, vineyards, and mines, in addition to industry, are all going to be privately owned. And I'm hoping that that's going to help get our investment pool doing at least a little bit of work. Alright. And bring in some money for the government. Because the government needs to bring in money. I don't have bad subsidies or subventions. Yeah, it's really just this colonial project and the and my issues with my... I really didn't think this was going to cost nearly so much. But that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. It's not going to lead to a wave of mass radicalization, I hope. And if it does, then them's the breaks. The minor interests. Regardless of the government caucus's stance, the fiercest debates on tenant farmers come from these two. The intelligentsia and populace stirred by Ismail Mashhadi's movement. He's a Shiite traditionalist. The end is nowhere in sight. Once in a blue moon, the government sees a minor issue to appease an ally or placate an enemy. Invariably, it crosses someone else's line. Some might call enemy of my enemy and expect an alliance of convenience. Others often rightly expect a velveteen fist. Let them bicker. 33% chance each that... well, these are not marked correctly, but it's 33% chance each one group gets stronger, the other gets saltier, or 33% chance of lower start on pops become more radical. That's the let them bicker option. Take advantage of the populist pressure. Stronger Shiite, more active Shiite traditionalist movement, weaker and angrier intelligentsia, or back the intelligentsia. Less active Shiite traditionalist movement, stronger and happier intelligentsia. I don't want the intelligentsia to be strong, but they're quite strong at this stage. I'm going to back them. Shiite traditionalist movement being less active is not so bad for now. I really wish I could get an advance event here. That's kind of critical. Oh boy, the rural folk are vacillating. They're gone. They were really strong for a second, and now they're gone. Oh man, the rural folk, they're doing their best. It seems the armed forces have also fallen out of our politics, which is fine. That's completely fine with me. Interesting. So the intelligentsia have really, they've really pulled up strength, and that's solid. All right. Economy is continuing to grow a little bit. I'm a lot lower on infamy. Did I start improving relations with China? What's my political situation? I'm improving relations with France, yes, and China. Alright. Beautiful. Yes, I did. Alright. So, what if I go after Kunduz? Return state for 2.9 infamy. China could step in. So I'm gonna keep improving relations with them a little longer. Now, what about Kokand? I got a conquer CB on Serdarya. That's Russian territory mostly. Conquer CB here. Return state CB here on Tajikistan, which I'm already holding part of. So if I went for this, they might accept. Kiva will definitely step in. Maimana might step in. I'm not afraid of Kiva or Maimana. Koken, do you have any problematic? No, you don't. So let's give this a shot. Alright, I'm gonna grab our second army and place them on the front. Now, do I take the rest of the country? Now, I could sway Russia in by grabbing Serdarya. And that's tempting. Kyrgyzia... Let me see, the Kyrgyz people are badly discriminated, but the Uzbeks are not. So if I grabbed Kokand... Now, part of Kokand is held by China. And Fergana, of course, is their capital. That's going to give me a lot of infamy to take. On the other hand, if I take Serdarya, I could sell it to the Russians. And that's... Oh, I beefed my, my infamy a little bit, but that's okay. It'll be down again soon. It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. Oh, I'm so good at video games. Political imprisonment. Ismail Mashadi and his supporters have publicly petitioned at a prison in Hazaristan for the release of pro-Tenant Farmer's protester held there on charges of disorderly conduct. The prisoner sat in his lightless cell, staring listlessly at the wall. The voices were beginning to carve through his mind again, repeating his name over and over, giving voice to his torment. He closed his eyes and covered his ears, bidding it to stop. Only when blissful silence finally fell over him did he realize that the chants were not coming from within his head at all. His imprisonment has already achieved its goals: increased enactment success chance, much stronger peasant movement. Or justice will not be overturned by the dictates of the mob. Shia Islam unhappy, rural folk happy. He loses popularity. I'm going to do the first one. That's going to give me a nice, sweet, tasty 10% enactment success chance. And that's really good. Obviously, I'm not reducing my national debt as much as I would like to be with an army mobilized, but, you know, them's the breaks. Now, if I bring in the Russians, does that create a potential problem? No, they'll only accept a transfer of estate. Maimana wants the transfer of estate as well. Alright, so those are out of the question. So we'll just have to personally win the war ourselves. And by personally, I mean, you know, we're going to have the armies do it. Although I think our king, our king is leading the other army. Maybe the actual answer to this is I need to demobilize some troops. I am spending quite a bit on military goods at this stage. And I will go up to Midland military wages just for the sake of winning the war right now. Although I guess that it does affect things a little bit. I should be low in infamy pretty soon. Alright, so again, our goals are to take Sirdaria and Tajikistan. And the goal for Sirdaria is to sell it to the Russians. 2 arms. Probably do the same with Khiva. Take a bunch of states. So Khiva's improving relations, are they? Ooh. 22.5 infamy to simply devour them. I've got a claim on Khwarezmia. I've got a claim on all of them. Well, fair enough. A third opinion. As the debates around the Tenant Farmer's law stall, Ismail Mashadi has motioned to pass the proposal to a commission of experts to break the deadlock. 1 caucus's opinion is a token. 2 is a minority. 2 caucuses representing the aggregated opinion of most people is still a minority, especially when those caucuses come with a lack of life or professional experience. Can the Treasury bear such an expense? 1.9k government expenses, 10% enactment success chance. Or put a call out for any experts. Weaker landowners, 40% chance of enactment success chance. I'm going to spend the cash. It's really very little. Long term, I say as I'm in the process of pinching pennies, but it's worth it. Alright, let's take a look at where we are with this war. We are conquering Tajikistan. And we're winning battles here. Our military power is significantly higher than theirs. So that's good. Yeah, I think we're going to end up... I think I'm going to cut this unit of skirmish infantry for now. And I think I'm actually going to cut just a few line infantry from our number 1 army. I'm going to leave the other army where it is for the moment. But that's going to help with our expenses just a bit. I recognize it's not perfect, but it's going to have to do. Alright, we're almost fully in control of Tajikistan. After that, it's Sirdaria. And then once we've gotten our infamy down a little bit more, we'll just do a return CB on all of Khiva. Because that's a territory I can take. After that, I think we'll go for Makran and Baluchistan. And then finally, we'll seize our coasts back from Oman. At some point, I might be able to buy Bahraini Hormuz from Bahrain. Oh, Bahrain is holding it. I thought this was the Trucial States, but it's Bahrain. So I could potentially simply seize that territory, which would be pretty cool if I could do that. War seems to be going well. We're still winning battles. Confusion and delay, a stall event. I don't like that. Supporters of tenant farmers among the Shia ulema, headed by Ismail Mashadi, have questioned the government publicly on the amount of time that is required in order for the law to pass. The government is, at this time, carrying out an atrocity through cold bureaucracy. It favors procedure over lives, paperwork over hunger. How many people need to suffer for the sake of the feelings of some government functionaries who've never felt a speck of hunger in their lives? Documents can wait, ladies and gentlemen, but the people's suffering cannot. The bill will be passed when the process is complete. Much stronger and more active peasant movement. That's good for this. And extra authority. Or documents can wait, the people cannot. Peasant movement increased activism Reduce enactment time, but reduce bureaucracy. I think I'm going to go with the first one. Again, a stronger peasant movement is good for us. Because they're going to help us get out of land-based taxation as well a little later. And that's going to be really important for our finances, which are currently Robert Borked, as I have explained many, many times. Although they're improving a little bit. Although the additional expenses line item is... Oh, right, because that's from that event that I just did. It's not the colonization getting more expensive, it's the other stuff. Alright. Kazakhstan. No. They're not willing to give it to me quite yet. They're losing more support at a good healthy clip though, so I think I should be able to snag what I wish to snag within a reasonable time frame. I am also very slowly starting to colonize Turkmenia and Merv, which is also good. Did I see myself up progress here for a second? I don't think so. Still need to get literacy up. Actually, do I have decrees I can leave right now? I think yes. As long as I don't need to use road maintenance to increase market access, because what this is going to do is it's going to make enactment faster by just a little bit. There's currency standards. Ooh, that's very good. All right, Kokand, give me the stuff. They're willing. They're willing. Propose. Beautiful. So, Russia. My man. They would like trade privileges. Oh, but they don't want trade privileges that much. Alright. State transfer Persian Serdaria. They want it a lot. Certainly won't take on my debt. Cash transfer, let's go with 2,000. Are you cold cereal? I'm giving you a state here, guy. Are you nutty? Russia, it's a state. It's land. You goobers. Alright, fine. I'll keep it. I'll keep Serdaria, and I'll incorporate it too. I'll normalize production methods and everything. See if I can. Oh, nothing to do there. All right, do that. And then I'm just going to need a hair more bureaucracy. Is there anywhere I'm short on bureaucracy? It appears that there is. Kabilistan is actually fully... incorporated at this stage, so I'm going to unpause government construction for just a few weeks. That will finish out a university as well, though obviously it's going to cost us a pile of cash. But it's got to be done. That's the only way to do things. How are things going with Turkmenia? Tensions are volatile, so hopefully we'll get ourselves a rebellion. Campaign of Banquets. Esmail Mashadi's attendance at a bourgeois fundraising banquet in Tehran has led to an uptick in funds promoting tenant farmers. As the organizer at the end of the table stood to give the toast to the clear wisdom of reform, he could not help but think of how closely the sound of his fork on the glass represented a coin falling into a bank or a spent cartridge hitting the ground. Nourishment for the body and the budget. Increased enactment success chance, reduced enactment time, and Iraqi Ajami gets increased pop strength and political strength from wealth. Or vast sums of money flowing into politics, you say. Same effect in Iraqi Ajami, but 20% increased enactment success chance, 20% reduced enactment time, but Esmail Mashadi gains Grifter, which costs him some popularity. I think we'll do the second one. Because I need to get myself some success chance here, I gotta say, friends. I gotta get shoving forward. Why is my iron situation so bad? Are my mines just not producing? What is going on here? They're kind of producing, but it's... It's brutal. It's just brutal. Alright, after this week, we'll pause government construction once again. I don't know, friends. I think maybe this Turkmenia situation might have been a mistake, but we'll see. The Tehran Citizens Convention. The peasant movement has convened in Tehran to rally support and publicly address the specifics of the state. We got this event already. I'm just going to hit what a lively discussion again. I think this is reasonable. I feel like our peasant movement almost never gets stronger. Again, not the biggest thing in the world. They will let us get off of land-based taxation eventually. And hopefully one day all of these favors I've been throwing the way of the Shia ulema will eventually lead to them being stronger. But I think my situation is kind of uniquely funny about that. Let's take a look at how it goes if we return Kunduz. China is still minus 46. Let's try and get them up to cordial and see how it looks. Now, Chitral. Okay, this is a split state here. So if we just grab Chitral. Hey, a lot of progress to consideration, finally. Alright, wonderful. I guess this is the state of Pashtunistan. I keep looking at the capital state and not the name of the state. And the Pashtun people. Hold on. I need to be smarter about my ethnic makeup here if I'm gonna kind of understand what I'm doing. I only have one primary culture, and that's Persian. Our heritage is Iranian. Our language is Persian. Our traditions are Persianate. Okay, simple enough. So what other cultures have we got in the empire? We've got some Somali people, some Kurdish people. Kurdish people are Iranian heritage with Persianate tradition and Kurdish language. So they're pretty well accepted. Mazandarani people who are Iranian heritage with a Tabari language. I have Circassians who are North Caucasian heritage, Adig language with a Caucasian tradition. Here in Tabriz, I've got Azerbaijani people who are Anatolian heritage with an Oghuz language. So I think these are the folks that are going to lose a lot of, but they do have a Persianate tradition. These are the folks who are going to lose a lot of status if I end up going to, hey, we're in adoption, wonderful. If I end up going to national supremacy. Armenians are already pretty low acceptance. There's some fluvial Bantu people here in Urmia. I'm not sure how they got there. Probably it's buying slaves. I've got Nyamwezi people. They're Eastern Bantu. Oh, okay. All right. So I think businesses are bringing in slave imports in these areas. I've got Mashriqi people here in Arabistan. They're Arab heritage with an Arabic language. Yeah, I've got Luri culture. These people are native to Persia. They're Iranian Persian. Interesting. I've got some Bedouin people living in Hormuz. They're also Arab heritage, Arabic language. Bampur has Baluchi people. They're Iranian heritage, Baluchi language, Persianate tradition. Okay. They also have Pashtun people who are Persianate tradition, Iranian heritage, but Pashto language. Alright, so really, like, I could take the rest of Pakistan. Hey, there's Tenant Farmers. Wonderful. So I could take over the rest of Baluchistan without experiencing a problem. You okay? Okay, it's losing great power rank. That's okay. These things happen. Man, I'm really killing myself with this colonization project. I think I may have messed up bad. I don't need taxation capacity here in Uzbekia right now. So that negative 17, not that big of a deal. All right, so these areas that we've taken, we've got a lot of... I expected that answer to be Afghan people, but I guess maybe Afghan is not a unified culture in this time period. Maybe it still isn't in our time period. I don't know. I would be lying if I said I knew a lot about the demography of Afghanistan. So we've got a lot of Pashtun people here. We've got a lot of Azande people here. Congolese. Interesting. In Hazaristan, we've got a lot of Hazara people. They are Hazaran heritage, Persian language, Persian age tradition. Interesting. And Tajiks are also Persian heritage, Persian language, Persianate. Uzbeks are Uzbek heritage, Karluk language, but Persianate tradition. Interesting. There are a ton of people around here with a Persianate tradition. That's curious. I wouldn't have expected that. They're getting a lot of acceptance out of the shared tradition. Before I get too silly about this, national supremacy provides 15 for a tradition. Okay, so subjecthood provides an especially large amount of acceptance for a tradition. The racial segregation is 20 for a tradition, and cultural exclusion is 25 for a tradition. So that's interesting. Now, I don't have the ability to go to per-capita taxation because we're in traditionalism. I need romanticism to get to agrarianism, and I need industrialists in order to get to interventionism. So, I think I still need railways more than any of this other stuff. But I think after this, it's romanticism, and then we clear out the rest of the first row of the right side of the social tree. Alright, relations with China are good. I'm going to stop damaging relations with Kunduz. Alright, China is below 50. Again, Macron could step in, but it's no business of mine. Alright. This time I'm going to wait to mobilize my forces for the time being, because I'm not that concerned about this. This is all one state, so I'm not super worried about that. Yep, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling away here. Maybe I'll go ahead and increase military wages by a little bit. I think when we hit halfway there, I'll fix up my armies and get them running. I could do another consumption tax. Yeah, let's do tobacco. That should be worth it medium term. Alright, a lot of people are neutral about this. That's fine with me. We're about halfway. I can go a little longer. One more week. End of this week, we'll mobilize. Alright, nice. Obviously that's gonna provide a really high amount of really high ratio. Actually we've got a little bit of well, I thought we had a shortage of ammunition, but apparently not. And I did hit the incorporate button for this territory, did I not? I did. Oh, we're already incorporated here in Tajikistan. Alright, I guess this territory is, like, historically Persian or something. Moderate rainfall started in Uzbekia. Lovely. Alright, so this war is expected... I'm expecting this war to go really, really fast. And that's going to make Persian South Turkestan, which currently has a measly less than 100,000 people living in it, significantly larger. And that's going to be good for us long term. I think our next conquest is going to be to Khiva. And there's finally the Atmo pump engine. Alright, so first things first. I know y'all are going to be shocked by this. The mines are going buck wild here. We're putting them all in the Atmo pump engine. Now, that's going to create extra demand for tools. Not that much of it. Not that much of it. Tooling situation's pretty respectable at this stage. We're on our way to mechanical tools. So that should create some kind of heckin' breathing room in our iron supply. And indeed it has. So I think at this stage... let me see. I think Tajikistan, we don't need both construction sectors. And we're going to go to full iron frame construction. Not that we're constructing at present. South Turkestan's got marginally more people now, but we need ourselves a road maintenance decree because they don't have sufficient market access. Oh my gosh, they just barely do with road maintenance too, even. That's brutal. That's brutal. That's difficult. But that was the brakes. Ooh, crystal glass. That's wonderful. Was that through spread? I guess it must have been. And we got canneries spreading. Well, not the most fortunate, but that's okay. Now, let's take a quick look at how much infamy it's going to cost to take Khiva. Dang. I'm going to have to expel their diplomats. But that's hardly going to cost me much infamy. And here's the Atmo pump engine. Through the widespread introduction of the atmospheric engine in the mining industry, productivity is at an all-time high. When steam first began to pump and wheels go round at so many revolutions per minute, what are called business habits were intended to make the life of a man run in harmony with the steam engine, and his movement rival the engine in punctuality. I'm sure we can squeeze a little bit more from these engines, extra mines throughput for 5 years, or perhaps there's a better way, extra tech progress for water tube boiler. You know I'm picking that tech progress. I'm too far behind not to pick tech progress. So, annex country will be 22.9, but I have return war goals on all these states. So 2.5 for Khiva, or Merv, 8 for Khorasmia, and 2.5 for Turkmenia. So that's a total of 13, but it's going to be a little bit more because we're incorporating additional war goals as primary war goals. So we're going to need to kind of go slow with that. After that, I think my aggression direction is towards Kalat and Makran. Oh, Russia wants a treaty. They want investment rights and trade privileges. No. How about you take on my debt? Do it. They declined. The Shia Ulema petitioned the government. Hassan Hedayat, the ever-efficacious leader of the Shia Ulema, has approached the government with a plan to enact religious schools. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. Hedayat, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I? Hedayat gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. We'll see what we can do. Reduce enactment time. Or they must understand the present situation does not allow for this. Reduce legitimacy, salty Shia Islam. I'm going to do the first one. Yeah, we'll heckin' do it. We'll get started on that right away. I have no reason not to do that. Probably should have done it already. No one to negotiate with. So yeah, we're just gonna wait until this sorts itself out. Now, how much longer are we gonna be getting this colonization bonus? Oh, it's almost done actually. All right, beautiful. That's very good. So let's take a quick run at our market and see where we're at. Tools are still going well. Yeah, okay. I'm importing a lot of coal that I genuinely do not need to be importing. So let's build up... Oh, I haven't built the coal mines into Breeze yet. And let's unpause government construction for just a bit. I know this is unwise for our finances, but I've got to do it, friends. It's just got to be done. Obviously now I've created a shortage of iron, but that's... Oh, I see. That's right, because when I'm not building, the country isn't using iron. I don't need this steel mill ahead here. Oh, it's in Tabriz, so I'll get it working. For the rest of the mines. Hopefully this will make my iron mines more productive, yes? Yeah, they're at least a little bit hiring, so that's good. Yeah, I need to build more glassworks. The Tehran Citizens Association. A social club popular with the educated class has held the Sanal in Tehran, with Ismail Mashhedi speaking in favor of religious schools as an honored guest. Ismail. I should be saying Ismail. That is indubitably the case, but if you considered what the reception of such a thing would be... Mashhedi nodded towards the speaker, and then back around the wood-paneled room. He put down his cup. I've spent some time thinking of it. We must in all things consider the thoughts of those who behold a thing for the first time. A first viewing is carried out with the eyes of an innocent, with mind open for new possibilities. They seem the sort to know what's best, extra enactment success chance, or encourage the further development of these sanals. Increase minimum expected standard of living from literacy, extra pop strength and extra qualifications in Iraqi Ajami, reduce enactment success chance. I'm just going to go with the enactment success chance from the first one. That's going to be better overall. I know I'm really playing chicken with my economy, but... Well, I'm only paying 10k in interest now. It hurts. It hurts real bad. Alright, so we were able to get... to get southern Turkestan taken over without China creating a problem for us. I'm pretty pleased about that. Turkmenia is still not doing a revolt. Obviously, I can't really provoke them, but it'd be pretty cool if I could. I'm a little short on bureaucracy now. Do I build the steel mill right away? Can't afford another road maintenance decree with all these consumption taxes I'm doing. And I need the consumption taxes for my my thing. Actually, standard of living is really spiked somehow, which is good, even though I've got really high taxes. That's curious. Popular outreach. Ismail Mashhedi has embarked upon a week-long tour of the countryside to spread awareness for the need for religious schools among the rural folk. Happy it is indeed for me that my heart is capable of feeling the same simple and innocent pleasure as the peasant whose table is covered with food of his own rearing. and who not only enjoys his meal but remembers with delight the happy days and sunny mornings when he planted it, the soft evenings when he watered it, and the pleasure he experienced in watching its daily growth. John Wolfgang von Goethe, The Sorrows of Young Werther. A noble cause, and with luck a popular one as well, happier rural folk, increased enactment success chance. Or why care for an outsider who offers nothing but words, reduced enactment success chance. He loses popularity. I'm going to do the first one. That's just fine with me. Happy to have my rural folk be happier. And I'm happy to be having increased enactment success chance. So the Shia Ulema's clout, we're getting an extra 60% from political concessions. So I hope that with that and the increasing the size of the universities in the country, that I'm also providing a significant amount of clout to them that way. With building up my universities, I am slowly, very, very slowly increasing my weekly innovation. I'm not going to be able to increase my university production methods until I get to dialectics. And that's going to require me to complete all of this other garbage. Mechanical tools is slowly getting there. I don't need these steel mills, actually, until I've got mechanical tools. So maybe... How's my paper supplies? Paper supplies are absolutely dog shit. Are my paper mills able to function? Yeah, they're fully hiring. Alright, so let's go ahead and build 2 more levels in FARS. And do I build another level in Mazandaran? I don't, because I don't have the bureaucracy, or the infrastructure. Do I build another... do I build 3 levels in FARS? I think I do. And we'll throw the steel mills at the bottom of the queue. And... I think I don't need to promote social mobility as much as I need road maintenance in FARS. So let's do it. My landowners remain stubbornly powerful. They're still salty about the whole tenant farmers thing, and frankly I understand why they are, but they gotta realize that owning people sucks, and you shouldn't be able to do it. Law progressed to consideration, heck yes. Well, I mean, I don't need to be reducing relations with Kiva anymore, do I? Or no, Kiva. Kiva I do need to reduce relations with. We're slowly getting there. We're slowly getting there. I'll be able to take them over when I get to about 7.5 infamy, which is going to take its sweet time, but I got to improve relations with China. How much longer am I going to have these expenses? Alright, another 4 months. It's also going to reduce my colony growth speed, but I think by that point it's not going to really be an issue. Things are volatile right now, so... hopefully we'll have a colonial war there, and then we'll be able to get colonization rights, and that'll be nice. Armed forces were briefly not influential. Oh, they're not influential again. Excellent. Ottoman Empire's goofing around with foreign investment rights. That's pretty silly. Things are very wild over there. Alright, and we are in adoption for that law. I think I'm actually going to finish out the steel mill and then finish out these paper mills. And then hopefully things will be chill. Although, I'm suddenly once again developing a shortage of bureaucracy. Although I'm short on taxation capacity here, so we'll throw in Another building, and this is why I keep building more paper mills, because I desperately need them in order to fund all of the universities and government buildings that I can't stop building. I'm addicted to expanding the size of the government, by which I mean I need it for taxation purposes. And then again, the universities, they're critical for our long-term success, because I need to be able to compete technologically. A good vintage. The wine produced in Herat has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. When people say that something ages like wine, they don't always make the distinction between wine and wine. So let me make that distinction. If you can get your hands on a bottle from Herat, that bottle can be more than just a good time. It can be an investment. Make this an exclusive product for export, for extra prestige, or increase production to meet booming demands. Extra wine building output. Wine is dirt cheap. We'll make it for export. Simple, easy, straightforward strategy here. Political migration. The rich and unstable political environment in Persia has proven attractive to political exiles and stateless people who have begun to congregate in the coffee houses of Tehran. Oh, Tehran, you flawed yet fiery jewel. Where else could one see 3 different demonstrations within a 5 minutes walk? They're welcome to join the sea of voices, extra prestige, extra radicals from political movements. Nawaz Gurmani once again moves back to Persia. Or these people make a mockery of Persia. Reduce radicals from political movements, reduce prestige. I'm going to do the first one. Welcome back, Gurmani. You can't stay away. The man can't stay away. I could pull the rural folk into the government. Advancement in medicine. Members of the Persian-Russian League are greatly impressed by the advancements Russia have made in medicine. With urgency, they seek to model the Russian approach to medical innovation. A lobby member that has recently returned from touring Russia and speaking with Russian doctors shares more about the experience. The medical accomplishments of Russia are quite spectacular. Should we take after their example, it would only improve the standing of Persia. Send some of our finest to study medicine in Russia. Improves relations and increases appeasement of the League. Or research their methodology immediately, cost the government some progress, but free progress on... cost the government some money, but free progress on medical degrees. Damn. Where are we with medical degrees? We've got 2.5, we need 7.5 total. I would love to get some free appeasement. That would make the landowners happy. But I gotta get that innovation. That free innovation, fam. I gotta get it. It's too strong. Temptation size large. Armed forces are influential again. You know, those things are happening. There is religious schools. That's my government petition completed. And now I'm short of bureaucracy, which is a thing I could have predicted would happen if I were not a big, silly goober. Let's build government admin here in Mazandaran. Let's build one in Tabriz. Where else are we short on taxation capacity? We're a little short here in Kabulistan, and a little short in Kandahar. I don't think I'm going to need all 4 of these, however. I think I'm only going to need 2. Because I think that's going to be 50 taxation capacity, if I'm not mistaken. And that should get me where I need to be. I believe, yes, we finally ran out our thing. So that should be fine. And now our finances are doing a lot better. So I'm going to finish out the current spat of construction, and then I'm going to chill on building stuff for a bit so that I can finally get my finances back in order. Because again, paying 20k in interest each week is just an unbelievable amount. The only reason I was willing to do this is because medium term, this paper is going to be really, where is it? What happened? My paper. Where's my paper? Here it is. Medium term, having cheaper paper is also going to be making things cheaper for the government. So, we're currently at 20k in the black. I'm at minimum wages for government and military, and I've got basically as many consumption taxes enacted as I can. 20k, that's gonna mean 5 weeks to get 100k, 50 weeks for $1 million. So realistically, it's going to be about 4 years before we're back down to 0. However, long term, I think that's viable. Could also potentially build slowly. Once I've chipped away at my interest payments, I could also start building slowly. And that wouldn't be too impossible to deal with. I've got a little war to fight up here in Khiva, and then another war to fight here in Kalat. France, the old so-and-so. Take on my debt, you goobers. What if you give me a huge pile of money? I don't know why you think this is a good deal for me. It's not. Although I guess if France pulls me into their trade league, that's not that big of a deal. But let's take a look at their power block. The Bloc Brognard. Internal trade is their only principle for now. They got a lot of leverage in Spain, actually. That's interesting. I'm still holding all my own leverage, which is pretty good. Cash flow is doing okay. Bureaucracy is doing okay. Now, if I pulled the rural folk into the government, I could take a stab at land-based taxation. I didn't do it, because I'm going to wait for the landowners to be chill about the whole serfdom thing, and then I'm going to go to per-capita taxation. And per-capita taxation is going to be a whole lot better for our finances. And that's kind of critical. I think I can stop damaging relations with Khiva. Long term, it's going to be faster to get our... it's going to be faster to get our infamy down so that we can go after them than it is going to be to spend that influence working on them. Now, East India Company, I do want to get them back up to max. We're almost... And the reason I'm doing this is because we're almost back up to max with China. A Persian Qing friendship committee is formed comprising the rural folk. That is interesting. Now that we're amicable with the Chinese. Nice. Intelligentsia are not so happy anymore. But what are you going to do? They're going to be malcontents this whole playthrough because we're doing traditionalism, and they don't like that. There's nothing else to be done about it. Ooh, I can start colonizing these areas. Excellent, excellent. Yes, yes, ha ha ha, yes. Soon Khiva will be mine. Actually, Russia has dealt with Kazakhstan already. So maybe the answer is we rush them. I think we rush them. So I hit return state. Nobody stops me. Let's force a diplomatic play. Because I want to add my return state war goals for both of these other areas. And that is unfortunately going to take us over 25. But I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to mobilize yet because I don't want to spend the money. They're going for a revoke claim war goal. No business of mine. An independence play in the Nile. That's delightful. Egypt's finally doing it, huh? You got any help? Not really. Opium addiction. Azerbaijani people are experiencing severe effects of opium addiction. The use and abuse of the substance has spread throughout Urmia. The opium eater lies under the weight of incubus and nightmare. He lies inside of all he would fain perform, just as a man forcibly confined to his bed by the mortal languor of a relaxing disease, who is compelled to witness injury or outrage offered to some object of his tenderest love. He curses the spells which chain him down for motion. He would but lay down his life if he might but get up and walk. But he is as powerless as an infant and cannot even attempt to rise. It's tragic. Extra mortality and reduced standard of living for Azerbaijani people in Urmia. Alright, I need to refill my water. Oh, because I'm coughing. I'm coughing over here. I'm in my coffin. Man, this is what it's like being in your 30s. You're a kid and it's like, I can do anything, and now I'm in my 30s, and it's like, I talked too much. Now my throat hurts. Alright. Mobilize this army. We'll head over here. And then... buy or else. A group representing those within the landowners with an interest in the iron trade has begun lobbying the government for action against Great Qing, citing its hostile trade policies. Weird. They'd been in and out of the foreign minister's office all morning. Men of wealth and status, all known to the ministry, all reciting the same complaints. The Qing trade war, impediment of free movement of goods, and seizure of unrealized gains. Just as he stood to flick the lock closed for the day, another knock rung out. The energy flowed out of him all at once, nearly driving him to fall onto the carpet. With a grimace, he forced himself to take another step forward and fling open the door. Yes, sir, if you would have a seat. It is only understandable. A new anti-country lobby is created, targeting Great Qing, or we will not shift our stance on command. They still... The anti-country lobby is still created, but the landowners get weaker and angrier. I'm going to pick the first one. This is unfortunate because they're a little unhappy, but hopefully it will not be too much of a problem. Maybe I can damage relations with Great Qing now that I no longer need them to support me in my, or at least to not oppose me in my wars over here. Russia's improving relations. Wonderful. Wow, Austria dealt with all their nonsense. I'm surprised by that. And they annexed their, Hungary got Croatia, Slavonia. And then there's an area over there that they also got control of. Alright. So, let's watch our war happen. Optimal sunlight in Persian Sudaria. Nice. Nice. Very nice. We are definitely winning here. I think we have superior cannons. Or maybe we've just got a lot more units. Yeah, maybe we've just got a lot more units. Alright, nice. We got some occupation rolling. And force comparison has improved a lot due to the casualties we've inflicted on them. Still need to get rid of slavery. That's going to be a whole process. A whole to-do. Can't do this until I've got my rural folk in the government. And I can't do that until my landowners are happier. Maybe I can sabotage relations with China. They're still cautious towards me. I give myself a lot of infamy over here, and that's part of why. That's part of why they're cautious. I'm not going to improve relations with Russia. They're already improving relations with me, so that's gonna get better on its own. Cash flow is doing a lot better. We're only paying 11k in interest right now. But I'm still going to wait a little longer because I think it's still sensible. So let's maybe damage relations with Great Qing a little bit. And hopefully that'll make my anti-Qing League happy, which will make my landowners happy. And that'll make things easier on all my other stuff. Again, long-term goal is to go after Great Britain, but obviously that's a whole process. What I do want is to unite the contiguous Ummah, which is the whole Muslim world. So I want to get a lot of this, not the whole Muslim world, but the whole contiguous Muslim world. So finishing that lets us get another colonization path. And then once we've got all of North Africa and some bits of sub-Saharan Africa down here, then we'll kind of think about where we are. Once we've got, you know, all of the Middle East and North Africa. Do I have skirmish infantry? I do. Get out of here. The slaves of Ashgabad. With the capture of Turkish Turkmenia, we have encountered large numbers of Persian slaves. Their relatives clamor for their freedom, but manumission will likely result in their current Turkic master's anger. Aga, years back when I was on assignment, I stood in a Bukharan bazaar observing the sale of a young Persian girl, lost in grief and treated with the grossest brutality by her master. Then I was powerless, a stranger in their lands, without the means to ransom her. My heart burned, and I became nothing. Inshallah, I swore, a day will come. Bismillah, and shackle every Persian bound. Just doing the same thing I did before. I realize I can start... I can't incorporate... because this territory is a colony. Okay, I can't incorporate any of these because they're all technically colonies. But that's okay. We're colonizing Turkmenia. It's a process. We're doing it. We're doing it, friends. Would the Russians still stop me if I devoured my mana? They would... they might. Maybe I'll offer them Sirdaria if they try to do it. Increasing our relations, breaking off trade privileges, breaking alliance or defensive pact, breaking mutual investment rights, declaring them our rival, surpassing them as a rival, declaring an embargo, making a diplomatic demand, launching a diplomatic play. France? This is not a good offer. Declined with prejudice. Alright, so... I think I can start building once again. I'm going to subvene the export of glass for the moment. How much am I currently paying in subventions? Almost nothing. Almost nothing in subventions, almost nothing in subsidies. Alright, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. I am bringing in a lot of tobacco that I could produce myself. I have a shortage of market access in Tabriz, and that's a major problem. I'm going to have to do a road maintenance decree there, because that's the only way to sort things out. At present. Once I got railways, things will be better, but I've almost got mechanical tools. Having mechanical tools, please tell me I didn't build my steel mill here. I built my steel mill here like a goober. That's okay. So what we're going to do is once we've got mechanical tools, I'm going to get all my tooling workshops over to steel tools. Industrial boom. Tooling workshops in Iraqi Ajami is reporting a small production surplus in industrial goods. We should look into investing this back into the state. What more proof do you need? Industries are the way forward. We're now experiencing the second wave of the Industrial Revolution. Factories in every city, workshops in every town. We will soon industrialize the whole nation. Boost our industries further. Extra manufacturing and service industries throughput for 10 years in Iraqi Ajami. Alright, so. Could reduce construction efficiency. Why? Whatever for? Turmoil. Oh, we've got the starvation problem. Hold on. This is a major issue. The fickle crowd. The populist base of the rural folk has turned against supporting foreign entanglements. Pressure from within has led the group to distance themselves from the Persian-Qing Friendship Committee. Persian needs first. The people say no to foreign entanglements and no to foreign treaties. Prosperity at home or chaos abroad. No foreign power would successfully attack a fortified Persia. It was a mistake to rely on them. They leave the Persian-Qing Friendship Committee, or they missteer clearly these populist ideals. They get a lot weaker. I'm going to do the first one. I think that's simply the most sensible thing. So, if we decay relations with China sufficiently, the landowners will be happier, and they're getting happier over time due to the whole serfdom thing. So, First Persian Army has a whole bunch of skirmish infantry I can just get rid of. And there's mechanical tools. So, let's get the Tabriz tooling workshops on there. Let's get I need to normalize production methods for these areas. Alright, now mechanical tools, right, sulfite piping. I'm going to need sulfite piping for my paper mills, so it's not here, it's Fars, right? Yes. So, let's get a couple of sulfur mines built. Ammo pump engine, and then I don't have sulfur mine capacity here, so I can't build them here. Paper mills are going to use 10 sulfur each. So I got 8 levels. I'm going to be producing 40 sulfur with these sulfur mines. So that should be just fine. Right. I had a starvation issue. So what's going on here? Is because grain's too expensive? I think it's just taxes are too high. But I can't afford it. I can't afford it, friends. I've got to keep building, but I can't afford to build. I got to reduce taxes, but I can't afford to stop building. Construction sectors are okay. Again, part of the problem with using my entire construction queue. Indian modernist revolt. Oh, wow. Things are going buck wild over here. The screw frigate. Excellent. Well, I'm glad I I'm glad I got that knocked out. Yeah, Great Britain is involved in this thing. Alright, that's chill. That's chill. So once these are running, we'll be able to produce a ton more paper, and that's going to be good for the government. It's going to make things cheaper. This hurts. This hurts, friends. Hurts, and I cannot emphasize this enough, donut. Yeah, I think maybe I'll cut back taxes once those are done. And the landowners are up to 6. Alright, so from here, we form a government with the rural folk. We go to... We wait a week. Right. I need to get off of traditionalism. Oh man, the in order twos of this game are just... they're unreal. Well, that was dumb. That was dumb. Put the Shia ulema back in power. This guy's a modernizer. That would let me do a lot of things. Getting to interventionism would be really nice, actually. Excellent. I recognize I've made my landowners extremely salty with this, but it's got to be done. I'm going to have to cut back taxes to get myself to a point of legitimacy. At least a little bit, but them's the breaks. I've got to get to interventionism. Alright, this one I'm really hoping Allah will stand with me here, because I'm a little desperate to get my economy actually rolling. Maybe I'll embargo China. I can't embargo them. Oh, it's probably because relations are too good. Because embargoing them would make my my landowners even happier, and then hopefully they won't do this. Is there anyone else I could pull into the government to make them more likely to work? Doesn't look like it. Alright. But that's okay. That's okay. With a modernizer in charge, we'll be doing good stuff in no time. See, this is why I've been strengthening the Shia ulema. Actually, we're experiencing a much better cash flow state than than we had before. All right, we got the sulfur capacity. Let's go to sulfite piping. Yeah, I know, but no, don't import them. Hire you boneheads. Hire like you've never hired before. Beautiful. There's empiricism. Excellent. And where are we with tech? We're still working on railways. That's okay. Railways is good. Railways lets us get a lot of good stuff. So I don't need romanticism too badly at this stage, although I will need it long term. So I think more urgent to me right now, I've got banking spreading, banking increases minting, stock exchange. So I think after that it's banking, stock exchange, then romanticism. And then We snag nationalism, and then dialectics, and then we circle back to production to snag water tube boiler, intensive agriculture, and then over to military. Oh, the percussion cap is spreading. A lot of it failed. No! No! Bastards. How dare? How absolute dare? Give me better events, you goobers. Alright, so I still need more coal mines. So let's get coal mines building. I don't think this will overrun my cash flow. No, we're good. We're good. Oh, we're not using one of our construction slots. Hold on. I'm thinking in terms of slots because I play a lot of Hearts of Iron 4. So we need more coal, we need more iron. Oh, but Iraqi Kajimi now has a shortage. Well, I don't need a tobacco consumption tax. Again, you can see why I desperately need railroad. Alright. Tabriz, how much infrastructure is there? There's a little infrastructure available in Tabriz. So we'll produce a couple more iron mines. These take 2 infrastructure per level, so I can't get too crazy with them. Fars is doing okay. So Fars is a decent place to produce iron mines. Sulfur mines are fully employed. I don't need to subsidize them at this stage. And then tools. Tools are still a little bit expensive. Let's put all of our tooling workshops on steel tools. That's going to make our other, our steel mills in Iraqi Jami. It's going to make them productive, and that's going to be good long term. Now I should be able to have another level of furniture manufactories. Khwarezmia has some infrastructure. Mazandaran has some. I'm going to build those there. How am I doing with dyes and other... Okay, dyes we're good on. Liquor we're just fine on. Silk we're just fine on, and we're exporting quite a bit of it. In fact. Lead we're exporting almost all of it. Grain's pretty cheap. Okay. Public address goes awry. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of interventionism by Ismail Meshedi has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the Shia ulema. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Ismail Meshedi's arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if this mishap was due to the inherent failings of interventionism, or can be chalked down to the political incompetence of the Shia ulema. Is the fault of this poorly thought-out proposal? Ismail Meshedi must take the blame for the setback. So the first one is minus 15% enactment success chance. The second one is minus 10% enactment success chance, but Meshedi becomes less popular and the Shia ulema get weaker. Or scrap the current draft and make a show of a rewrite. Increase enactment time by 10%, increase enactment success chance by 10%. One setback, and Meshedi becomes less popular. Either way, we're going to get a setback. So I'm going to pick the one with the fewest other modifiers. It's going to drop us to 0%, but that's going to reset us back to 16%, which is the amount, or 14%, which is the amount the Shia ulema are providing. Oh, that's slow. It's not great, friends, but it is what it is. Oh man, Khwarezmia, you can't build anything there. We're going to have to build these manufactories in Mazandaran. I don't need to subsidize those buildings anymore. They're perfectly productive. Let's, legislative failures. There it is. I'll read this event one time in this playthrough, but We're going to see this event anytime we're doing a one that's not working super well. Despite many efforts on the part of the government to successfully revive interventionism from its present imbroglio, the law has come to be regarded as nothing but an inevitable failure. That bill? Please don't talk to me about it. I would say it's better just pretend it never happened, don't you agree? Certainly, but that won't stop that fool from asking about it every day. We must sponsor a complete rewrite of the bill. This removes these penalties, and it gets one setback. That puts us back at 14%. You know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures. I got myself a bunch of infamy. I'm going to rival China. They've rivaled me back. I'm going to stop damaging relations. So that should make the anti-Qing League very happy. And this has made put my landowners at 0. So that's put the stall chance only at 28%. So here's hoping that that gives me enough breathing room to pass interventionism. Getting another group into the government is not going to be viable at this time. So hopefully we'll get some good events, friends. Cash flow is doing okay. I have a possible action. Request British military mission. Ooh. You know what? We'll do it. The petite bourgeoisie and the intelligentsia formed the British Persian Friendship Committee. That's interesting. I'll give it that. That's interesting. Interesting indeed. I could also... What if I got a trade agreement with the Russians? They don't want that. Would they be happy with would the lobby be happy with? No. They want trade privileges, they want increased relations, a defensive pact, military assistance, ending a rivalry, ending an embargo. What if I gave them a tiny amount of money? See, these numbers don't feel reasonable. 52% chance. And a power block embassy. On the other hand, I could owe them an obligation. I can't do that because I already owe them an obligation. Let's try it. 52% chance is pretty okay. If they don't accept, it's not the end of the world. Them's the bricks. Alright, come on. Give me a good event. I desperately need a good event. I took on infamy for this game. Give me a good event. Excellent. 24%. Whew. Alright. So from here, what does our economy need most? We are able to build quite a bit. We still need more hardwood. I think if I spread out hardwood production that's ultimately better for the country. I could go to slaughterhouses. That's good for our livestock ranches. Yeah, I'll do that. Yes, because right now we're just doing hardwood production in Iraqi Ajami. So I went to hardwood production across the country. That would make the price of wood remain reasonable. And the price of hardwood is now very low. So if we subvene the export of hardwood, that's good. That's good. I'm making my own luxury clothes, right? Let's subvene the export of luxury clothes as well. That's going to be good for our businesses. And let me slow down here, because I need to, I've got development to do. I'm going to tariff incoming tobacco. Because I want to produce that myself. Well, I should have a new method for tobacco plantations, right? I could use molds. That takes iron and allows me to produce more. Yeah, let's do it. I think long term I'm gonna go to exploitative practices rather than violent treatment for all of these places. I think that's just the most reasonable way to do things. My iron mines have become unprofitable. Oh right, because I'm not building anything currently. All right. Let's get reasonable. What do I want to build? Universities. That's what I need. That's what I need. I'm crazy thirsty for universities. Isfahan, you've got infrastructure. Luristan, you've got infrastructure. Persian Kurdistan, you've got infrastructure. Urmia, you've got infrastructure. Bampur, you've got some. Herat, you've got quite a bit. And some unemployment. Alright, that should be enough for now. I've got a reserve of cash, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. This is a 100% increase in the size of my university system. And then it's going to require a lot more paper. So we'll expand paper in Fars as we complete this process. Now we're working on railways. In 16 months we'll have that. Obviously I'm costing myself a pile of money here. Anti-Qing League offers opportunity to establish a defensive pact with Great Britain. Their proposal, if accepted, is intended to counter Qing interests. It was a veiled sort of aggression, one which could, in theory, appeal to both ardent jingoists and those who preferred to mitigate losses. It would force the enemy to respond, possibly drive them towards a reckless confrontation, in response to a seemingly benign maneuver. A plan to fright China into the last Brit, one minister remarked. The representative flushed. He had practiced responses along both lines, but none of them quite fit. We'd be happy to pursue this, or this is not in our interests. I'm going to say we'd be happy to pursue it. Getting a defensive pact with Great Britain is not great. Let's see what it looks like. They don't want it. Baseline. Alright, well, we'll live where we are for now. Hey, Russia, what if I gave you a power block embassy and trade privileges for £2,000? Not enough of an improvement on recently. Okay, alright. Never mind. I can't simply bash away at that until it's done. Beautiful, we're in consideration. So, the Eastern Frontier, I need to hit this button to finish it. And then... yeah, and then I just get, ooh, Agriculture throughput and prestige permanently. Oh, I choose one. Language in the classroom. Circassian students sometimes use their native language in Persian schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of Persia. You've noticed it too, right? He gets angry when anyone talks in class, but he always gets angrier when we're talking. Maybe he thinks we're talking about him. I think he just doesn't like being reminded that we know something he doesn't. Schools should teach them the proper language, extra assimilation. 10% of Circassian pops become more radical, increase radicalism for discriminated pops, or their language is part of their heritage. Reduce assimilation, reduce radicalism for discriminated pops, petite bourgeoisie. Unhappy. I'm going to pick the first one. Schools should teach them the proper language. Alright, so I think I'm going to put a paper mill in basically every 3 levels of universities here. And I think that's how I'm going to do it. Because that is just going to be a reasonable setup. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And that should allow our paper supply to keep pace with the amount of universities. Again, there are those of you who have said that I am a little too aggressive on universities, but here's the thing. The more I can get this number going up, the better. We're very far behind technologically. It's the 1860s, and we still don't have the percussion cap. We're struggling to get our Tier 2 techs, and that's just brutal. So, new pollinator surge. Excellent. So the more research we can do, the better we can get with that. Because I need to get up into the Great Powers. Once I'm in the Great Powers, once I'm in the Great Powers and recognized, there's a lot more I can do. In terms of earning recognition, if I can get interventionism going, I can complete this, and that will be very good. We're still progressing here, right? Yes, we're going. We're doing it. And then, yeah, I need to get slavery dealt with. Literacy is going up slowly. I do have the capacity for a second level of education institution, and I think that's actually really, really worth it. So, let's take a look at where I need governance capacity. I still haven't incorporated Uzbekia all that much. Sirdarya, same thing. So, I think we'll build a government admin here in Kabulistan. I think we'll build one here we'll build 2 in Mazandaran. And these cost 1 infrastructure a pop, so I need to be really careful. Gonna get that paper mill done at the same time. Hopefully we'll get these going fast, because the more, colonization of Khwarezmi complete. Excellent. So you are now incorporatable. For 75 bureaucracy. Urgh. Sucks. Alright, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I can live with the things. Let's build up a level of administrative capacity in Kandahar as well. And we'll throw this at the top of the queue. Not all the way at the top, but nearby. As these get built, so again, our goal here is we want to be able to get level 2 education, because getting above 40% literacy is very good. And also, getting higher literacy is going to be better for the country overall. It'll get us better tech spread, it'll get us faster research, and I believe when we're talking about low levels, I believe it will make our Shia ulema stronger. To have more literacy, which is very, very good. Maxim Dragomirov has been exiled from Russia. That's interesting. I don't know who that is. I mean, he's a fictional character. He's not a historical figure, but names the breaks. can I afford to go to middle costs? I think, at least medium term, I can. I can't go to medium taxation yet, although I do have a reserve. I could live with that. But I want to keep doing what I'm doing. Alright, I should have enough capacity to do this next week. Nope, it's not increasing above where I'm at right now. Anywhere I need more capacity? Come on, Kandahar. Higher. Higher, you goobers. There we go. Alright, they're getting there very, very slowly. In Kabulistan, are we maxed out and still technically below the number? Should I do this? I think I should, actually. Just to make sure that I've got a little bit of a buffer. I know it's going to be extremely costly financially for me, but it is what it is. Kurdistan's doing fine. Actually, I will move my road maintenance decree there. Unless I've run this place out of infrastructure. Not quite. Dissenters break ranks. Stall that. Gosh dang it. To outside observers, the Shia Ulema may appear firmly committed to the idea of interventionism, but behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now a clique of dissenters has finally had enough and have officially broken with their fellow members over the issue of the reform. For how long have we stood together? How many times have we lent a willing hand your way? Yet our own concerns are left unanswered and our desires left unmet. If we shall not be heard here, we shall be so elsewhere. Splitters, may the devil take them. Significantly reduced NAC and success chance. Shia Ulema becomes weaker. Loosen our purse strings, perhaps we can lure some of them back. A reduction to enactment success chance and government costs, not much of them, but still a little bit, and the Shia Islam is a little weaker. Or offer them custodianship over a new draft. One setback, increased enactment success chance, Shia Islam is slightly weaker. I'm going to do the third one. I almost never do this, but I'm feeling confident overall. Uh-oh. They're getting big mad. Okay, no, they're okay. They're fine. It's fine. We're fine. Oh, inshallah, we will succeed at getting interventionism, and that will crack the economy situation wide open. That'll also pave the way for us getting better taxation, which will be really, really good for the country. All right, here we go. Education. This will also make the Shia Ulema more powerful, which is good. Oh, beautiful. So, Russia, tell you what. Instead of cash... Oh, interesting. Well, what about some pocket change? 50% chance. They still might. They did it. Excellent. Hamza el-Sultana retires. Alright, we're still good in terms of army capacity. The Shana Shah is still leading the first army. The second army has this fella. He's older. He's older. Let's put a rural folk man in charge here. I don't have a Shia Ulema general, unfortunately. Escaping refugees. A significant group of slaves have risen up and made for the borders of Russia, where slavery is illegal. We've seen this event a bunch of times. I am actually going to fund the capture of the refugees. Though it's going to cost us money, it's going to make the landowners much, much happier. And that is going to make this continue to be more possible. Um, 70% chance they're okay with mutual investment rights. I'm going to do this. If they say yes, they declined. Alright. If we can get our landowners up to +5, I think they'll stop preventing the enactment entirely. And that would be very, very good for us overall. Am I goofing my paper supply? I'm not. I'm mostly maintaining my paper supply. How's my sulfur supply, though? Sulfur supply is still looking good. Alright, so that's just fine. And I'm building continuously with a pretty okay cash flow situation. Yeah, okay, Russia. That's fine. You do you, as the children say. I need some more bureaucracy, unfortunately. Urmia. Where's Urmia? Am I silly? I'm silly. Over here. Alright. So, let's go ahead and move our... Okay, it's there. And there's railways. Beautiful. Alright, this is going to be very, very good. Hey, law debate success. Wonderful. We're at 38%. So, we need... This is not Iraqi Ajami. We need a motor industry, and we need it bad. And then from there, we need a railway. Now, where else have we got road maintenance decrees? Tabriz and southern Turkestan. So, Tabriz, you need a railway. Mazandaran, you need a railway. Fars, you're going to need a railway. And southern Turkestan, you're going to need a railway. I'm actually going to move the next round of university and paper infrastructure below these railways because they need to get built. They need to get built soon. And although it's a risk, I think I am going to throw one more construction sector into the queue in the capital. Because again, I got the cash flow right now, and I've got enough of a reserve that I can afford to spend a little bit more. Obviously, I'm still increasing my education institution. Again, if I can get above 20% literacy, I could be okay. Now, there is always a chance that you can get a random setback in here, and if we get a setback, we're fucked on interventionism, but hopefully it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And then we'll have a little bit more authority to play with, and that'll be nice. Consumption taxes are still basically good. Luxury furniture would be... Luxury furniture together with tobacco might be better than one of these other ones. Well, not really. Not really. We're doing pretty okay with those. I still don't dare drop to medium taxation, but gotta continue. We're actually pretty low in infamy, so I could go after Kalat at this stage. This would be a conquer CB. What about Macron? Macron would be conquer as well. So if I do one at a time, Sind will step in. But no one else. Do I feel like I can take Sind? I feel confident in my ability to take Sind in a fight, right? So yeah, let's go after Makran and Kalat. Yeah, these areas are both part of Baluchistan. Yeah, and this will be good. And I think just one army should do. I will add a war goal. What? Okay, I'm gonna add a war goal to transfer. But no, I don't want to transfer them to us because I'm gonna liberate them. That'll pull them into the war. Okay, I still can't declare a conquer war goal for them, which is unfortunate, but Makran sides with Persia. That's exciting. Alright, so we won't get a truce with them. Come on, give me interventionism. Please, please. Uh-oh. Ah. Bureaucratic imbroglio. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of interventionism have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards the reform to a near halt. The fully developed bureaucratic apparatus compares with other organizations exactly as does the machine with the non-mechanical modes of production. That is to say, the teeth of its individual gears meet in a chord, or its gears will gnash and churn until it eventually breaks. Damn this labyrinthine legal system, reduce enactment success chance, increase enactment time, or cut through at least some of the red tape, radicalized bureaucrats in Iraqi Ajami, reduce bureaucracy, but no reduction in enactment success chance, only increase enactment time. I'm going to pick the second one. Obviously, that's going to require me to build more construction, more government buildings, but I've simply got to do it. I've got to do it. Alright, so let's get serious here. Government admin. Anywhere we have shortages. Tabriz technically still. We'll do it. Kabilistan is close. Let's sort. Obviously Uzbekia, but that's not that big of a deal. Kandahar, Mazandaran, Herat. And that should be enough. I'm going to throw all of these at the top of the queue, because I want them to get built as soon as possible. We'll finish at the university in Bampour, because that's almost done. Come on, Sind. You can join me. Beautiful. I'm going to add this to the primary war goals to make sure that they... Or I don't think. Well, because if they yield Baluchistan, then they'll be fully annexed and it won't matter. So Makran's just helping us, and that's chill. Now, government admins are finishing out being built. Still working on those motor industries. Obviously, all these railways are going to cost us a pile of cash, but long term, they're going to be very good for us. 16 weeks till our education institution is finished advancing. I don't think... Hey, there's canneries. Wonderful. So this is actually good. Oh, I could do public trams, but I need motor industries before that'll work. Canneries. If we can... Better to can fish, so let's can fish. 2 arms. Alright. Fish, still good. Still good. Alright, perfect. Let's take a look at our fight here. That's going good. Okay, so I should have targeted Makran with a war goal. That's fine. That's fine. Hindsight's 2020. We're learning what we gotta learn. And there's medical degrees. Alright, beautiful. This unlocks charity hospitals in the medical system, which we will do basically as soon as Uh-oh! Generals misfired cannon. An affair between Ali Pazian and Esmail Meshedi's spouse has reached our ears, threatening to affect his public image if we don't destitute the general. As if being caught in the act wasn't enough, Ali Pazian stepped from the bath to see a telltale rash spreading. There was only one liaison he had been seeing. Now there was no denying it. Not after the general's very flesh betrayed the affair. You're studying the general, and these are personal matters. Machete becomes syphilitic. Pazian becomes syphilitic. The Shia ulema gets salty. 10% chance Machete becomes an alcoholic. Or we cannot trust a man like this. Machete becomes syphilitic. Pazian will step down and the Shia ulema will be happy. Gosh, I wish he hadn't become syphilitic, but that's okay. We cannot trust a man like this. Unfortunately, that means we need a new... I'm just going to have to give this rural folk guy a promotion. And now we've got sufficient capacity, so that shouldn't be a problem. Now we'll see. I might be able to go directly to conquering Macron. If I can do that, then it'll be a pretty short time before I can declare on Oman and get all my coast back. I could declare on Bahrain to get this little piece of coast back as well, which I would like. I've got the infamy for it. Beautiful. And Baluchistan is already fully incorporated in Persia, so we simply reset production methods. That'll be fine. And now we've got a much larger population here to work with. Are we okay for governance capacity? We are. Organized crime. Criminal organizations have begun operating in Herat. It doesn't matter if we arrest one person or solve one crime, it will keep going unless we go all the way to the top. Put some funds into stamping out the organizations, or I'm sure the authorities can handle it, reduced authority. That's a lot of authority. We'll do the cash. Cash seems like a better play at this time. Come on, please. Please give me interventionism. I need it so bad. Please. God, give me interventionism, please. So can I go after Macron right away? 13 infamy for that. I'm going to wait. Instead, I'm going to go after Bahraini Hormuz. Ooh, Russia might actually step in on their side on that. Never mind. We'll wait. We'll simply wait. Now that we've got motor industries, we're getting trains, getting the trains running, and that'll be good. Oh my gosh, if I continued to outrun my governance capacity, I have indeed. Let's put one in Bahraini Hormuz. Actually, no. Let's put one in Uzbekia. We're ultimately going to need more. Uzbekia has a significant population, which I didn't realize. So maybe the answer is we actually build 2 government buildings here. Put those both at the top, and that'll give us a little bit of a buffer. Again, I always want to have a bit of a buffer in terms of bureaucracy, especially when I'm growing institutions. Come on, interventionist. Hey! Finally. Oh, that's beautiful. All right. Let's see. Investment pool is still growing at about the same rate. But hopefully they're... Okay, but now they're building. Now they're building. They're growing while they're building, which is very good. All right, so next up I need a company. Well, next up I need more bureaucracy. Gosh, I keep imposing costs on myself. What a goober I am. Why do I do this to... Why do I do this to myself? All right. Well... We'll just put in some more taxation capacity here in Uzbekia. Alright, beautiful. Banking is going to be good for our cash flow. Just make sure I'm not completely outrunning my paper supplies. Nope, paper supply looks just fine. In fact, we're exporting paper. I want to get this railway in Tabriz done, so I'm going to do that whilst I'm in the middle of this taxation situation. Again, not the wisest it's ever been, but still okay. Are my motor industries running? Get subsidized, idiot. I'm so thirsty. At these long recording sessions, I get very, very thirsty. It's simply the way of things. We're closing in on 2.5 hours. I'll probably go a little bit longer than that. So this might be actually another like 15-year episode, which would be pretty rock solid. That'll put me in very good stead for subsequent ones. I don't know, the one with Spain felt like it went really, really slowly. For Iberia, I guess. And the investment pool is building glassworks. Alright, so with the investment pool continuously running, we're actually doing a lot better cash flow-wise. Please tell me this government admin is able to hire. They are. Are my government admins just, like, producing heckin' nothing total capacity here? Or am I just silly? What's going on here? This should be producing a lot of bureaucracy, but they're not. Or maybe it's just all getting eaten up by my other stuff. Alright, well, let's hit the increase government admin button again. Slow the game right down. And, I guess Khwarezmia is the next reasonable location. Everywhere else is looking like they're doing okay. Khwarezmia is building really slowly, right? Yeah, oh yeah, things are Robert Borked over there. Recently conquered, a little bit of turmoil. Well, it's still only going to be 9 weeks. And then let's go ahead and build one in Turkmenia just for the sake of being out ahead of that. We'll do the same in... We've already got one in Merv. Never mind. I don't need one in Merv. I've already got one in Merv. We're Mervin. Mervin Gurdens. As... Okay. Alright. I'm making mouth noises. This is how you know it's gotten to a point in the evening where I'm tired, because I'm just making mouth noises. Happily, I think... With our cash flow situation where it is, we may actually have the ability to increase the size of our construction sector, which I would be very, very pleased with. So, let's build an additional level in Arabistan, an additional level in Iraqi Ajami, and one in Mazandaran, and then we'll put 2 in Tabriz. And education is at level 2. Excellent. Can-do attitude. Soldiers are complaining that they have no way to open their canned food. Sure, the food's a bit better, but what's the point if we can't get at it, eh? Some lads use rocks, others knives. The only reliable thing is how bloody annoying it is to eat. Spend some money to develop a way. It's not that much money. Or they'll figure it out. Armed forces unhappy. I'm going to do the first one. I can't really afford it, but I've gotta. I've gotta do it. All right. So I've really monstrously increased my expenses by building all these government sectors, but I've just gotta get them. And now I'm going to do the same thing again by building a bunch more construction sectors, which are again long-term, very important, but obviously they cost a huge barrel of cash. But that being said, the investment pool is growing at a really healthy clip when they're not building. So I'm feeling pretty confident in my ability to build continuously, even whilst increasing the size of the construction sectors. However, have I provided myself with a sufficiency of iron? Answer is a big fat no. So in order to solve that problem, now that I've got a railway here in Tabriz, I should have plenty of construction capacity, so let's build up these iron mines. Wow, this road in southern Turkestan is going real slow. I mean, railways take a long time to build. Railways take a long time to build. That's not a specific problem to this run. That simply is the way of things. We're a bit lower in infamy now. So how does it look now if we go after Bahraini Hormuz? I'm not going to risk Russia stepping in. Let's snag Makran instead. Nobody would step in here again except for maybe Sind, but I'm not worried about that. You were so pleased when I consumed your overlords. You did not know it was merely a prelude to me consuming you as well. So from here, I think the target is Oman. And then I can get all my coastal land back. My coastal land, which I desire so fervently. Fervently, I say, do I desire my coastal land. And where's Merv? This is Merv. So I think when I've got Merv back, I can finish this, and then once I've got Greater Khwarezmia, all of Greater Khorasan I have. All of Khwarezmia I have the capacity to have. And all of Transoxania. Oh, I don't have that yet because I don't have Fergana and Kokand. So I need to go after them next. And I can't do that until this diplomatic play is finished, but this will be pretty quick. Oh, also I need to get my mana. Which, for a little while, the Russians were talking about trying to stop me from doing, but I'm hoping that doesn't become too much of a... I'm hoping that doesn't materialize, because I really want to do the Eastern Frontier, because that's going to get me a lot of neat bonuses and a lot of claims over this way direction, over by the Ottoman Empire. How are the Ottomans doing? They've got 137 battalions. How much of their prestige is from army power projection? 90. Versus me, how much of my prestige is from army power projection? $75. So I'm not as good as the Ottomans in terms of army power projection, but I could be. I could very well be. Let me see. I've got some irregular infantry. Let's go ahead and... I don't need conscription here. I got some skirmish infantry I can drop out of the army. And after that, I'll take a look at what it looks like to take Fergana. Ooh, and there's the percussion cap. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, Tabriz is where my lead mines are. So let's actually queue in some munitions plants building. And we'll put those once again... Do I want to put them ahead of the paper mills, or do I want to finish out these universities and paper mills? I think I want to finish out the universities and paper mills actually first. Ah, and there's our native uprising. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's perfect. I've been waiting for this. Alright, so... this is going to have to be an invasion situation once again. So we'll just move you folks over to the appropriate location. In preparation for this native uprising. So I've been hoping for this, and the reason I've been hoping for this is because once we win this war, we'll get colonization rights, and that will allow us to colonize a lot faster. And that's really important in terms of us getting a hold of this territory that we're trying to get a hold of. We're making a stonking thick Persia here, and I'm feeling pretty pleased about it. Great Britain wants... No. Why do you think I want your investment? Great Britain, it's not reasonable. It's not a reasonable or sensible plan. Let me see. I'm going into debt once again. I'm only paying 4K in interest, and my construction queue is not that long. I am going to finish. I'm going to set the munitions plants under construction first, or sooner than the other stuff. I need everything in this queue really, but I'm going to get the munitions plants rolling because I want to unify Germany and France. Oh my! Prussia has made themselves a big ol' situation. Prussia has become large. Friends, nerds, this might be a run with the Germany. We'll see. We'll see how things go. I don't rightly know what causes the invasion to be required here, but it's something. Defamatory article. A newspaper called the Semnon Globe has printed a bigoted article about the Circassian people living there. We can suppress the article or we can let it be released. He threw the tabloid across the table with a huff. Absolutely vile lies, the lot of it. Alas, that won't matter to those who read it. They'll gobble it right up. He eyed the shocked maid's face, then righted himself. Of course they'd believe it. He hadn't given them any proof to the contrary. Suppress it, costs a little bit of authority, or ignore it. Reduce the standard of living for Circassians and Semnon. Circassians are pretty thoroughly discriminated people already. I want to suppress it. I'm feeling like being the good guys today. Alright, so we're winning battles seemingly unopposed here, which I'm pretty pleased about. Is this their capital? I suppose it is. Decentralized countries still have capitals. They just, you know. Use of weapons. Impressed by the British military's use of sophisticated breech-loading artillery, the armed forces have begun to align themselves with the Persian-British Friendship Committee. The reports from Great Britain had been passed around the room so many times that the edges had already started to become soft. Some attendees were in awe, others were more measured in their opinion. Some simply refused to believe what was written. I believe, said the officer at the end of the table, that if they can manage it, so can we. Until we can, however, we ought to take measures to make sure those guns aren't pointed at us. The British model is one worth following. They join the Persian-British Friendship Committee. Or they ought to be less easily impressed. They get weaker and angrier. I'm going to pick the first one. I think that's fine. All right. 86%. And there we go. All right. And now we have a normal, ordinary front, which we should be moving forward on to take over this territory. Fakir by Mangeshkar. Fakir by Mangeshkar. Nice. Oh, you know what? Building a munitions plant is not going to be useful to me yet, because I don't have... Actually, I should... Ooh, I've got intensive agriculture spreading already. Let's actually rush intensive agriculture, and then we'll circle back to the society ones. So we'll do stock exchange, then we'll do... Beautiful. Then we'll do romanticism, nationalism, dialectics. Then we'll snag water tube boiler. And then we'll figure out what to do. I'm producing a very healthy and respectable 70 innovation per week. which is pretty good at this stage. Again, I think because of the way the sort of the economy functions in the game, the nerf to universities is really quite good for players overall. All right, so my mana. I'm really risking it for the biscuit. But I think it's worth it. I do have a sway that the Russians will accept, so it's not that big of a deal. I got 19 infamy out of this, but hopefully it won't be too buck wild. And then the only other region I need is Fergana, and then we'll be good to go. Doing very well for influence right now, which is nice, because I need that infamy decay. You know, rivaling China was smart. Rivaling China was smart. Of course, my landowners have not become much happier, so we're just going to need to let their relations decay. Ooh, they're going after the Ottomans. I need to build a navy to get myself some extra, interests. Because I need to be able to expand further abroad. The Ottomans winning this war? Oh my goodness. Oh, this is a whole general European war. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it now. Yeah, I need kabooms. What do you want from me? I have trade capacity here, right? Yeah, let's build a little bit more trade capacity. And after that, I was going to go to gas streetlights, and I didn't do it, but I'm going to do it now, because I got plenty of coal. Doesn't seem like the Russians are trying to stop me here. In fact, they no longer can. So now I'm feeling pretty pleased. I'm feeling very happy. So once we got a hold of Fergana, the only thing we'll need for Eastern Frontier is to finish colonizing Turkmenia and Merv. And Merv is almost completely colonized already. So that'll be good. And my mana is part of southern Turkestan, so that state will be unified, and that'll be nice. Now, the private sector is building railways. One in Kabulistan and one in Kandahar. I think that's a good job for the government. I basically want a railway anywhere we don't have a railway yet. It's a good sort of starting... Oop, not Fars. Well, we'll cancel that one in a minute. Gosh, I sure do have a lot of states. Wait, southern Turkestan I don't need one. Kabulistan I don't need one. And Fars I don't need another one. Alright, well that's good for now. Again, connecting up the country is very important. It's not critically important right now, but I don't want to get myself into a situation where I'm short on infrastructure, and it's good to have a baseline amount of transport available in most areas, because you want to have production methods that rely on that. Unstable government. Sucks. I can go to per-capita taxation, however. I think I gotta drop taxes, which is a shame. I may need to halt government construction for a bit to keep my finances in order. But that's okay. Is there anywhere I need to incorporate? No, not yet. Okay, so if I go over, if I go after Fergana, it's going to cost me 25 infamy. No one's going to stop me, but it's going to cost me 25 infamy. So that's going to be a while. I'm going to need to wait for about 3 years to get that. But that's okay. That's really okay. I also kind of want to get a hold of Pashtunistan, because the Pashto people are very, very close here. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what we can. We'll see what we need. Once again, going to delete these skirmish infantry. I will have skirmish infantry eventually. It's just, it's a process. I don't want to throw another landowner's guy into power here. Anyway, hopefully we'll see a spike in standard of living from lower taxation, and that'll make things a lot better. I'm actually going to have to cancel all these other railways because I can't afford them. We're building quite quickly, and the investment pool is handling some construction. Intensive agriculture is very nearly finished. What that will do is it'll allow us to get our own fertilizer and explosives industries, and that will allow us to be fully independent in terms of our ability to maintain the necessary production chain to produce skirmish infantry. And I think at that point, we'll promote our entire armies to skirmish infantry. I also think at this stage, I want to activate at least what do we got in terms of luxury goods? Liquor is cheap. Sugar is relatively cheap. Tobacco is a little expensive. And we got a lot of opium, right? Yes, we certainly do. So I can afford opium. And I think I can afford rail transport at this stage. This might be a little penny wise and pound foolish here, but I think it's going to be the right call. Now, how are we doing for engines? Engines are still pretty good in terms of our supply. In fact, we're exporting a lot of engines. We're also exporting a lot of hardwood, which I'm feeling pretty pleased about. Although the government's paying for some amount of that. That's okay, though. That's okay, though. Subsidies and whatnots are limited. Merv is almost completely colonized. So I'm feeling pretty stoked about that. You know what? Before I do all this other stuff in society, I think actually corporate charters is the next thing I need, and then dialectics. No, I need dialectics first. But after that, it's corporate charters, and I think I can wait on nationalism. And once that's done, we'll work on water tube boiler. Because that'll be really good for our mines. So if we're not building, that's going to cost, we're going to be at positive like 20 units. Beautiful. And there's intensive agriculture. So, unfortunately, that is a, that is no longer a question because now we're going to start producing our own fertilizer, and we're going to do it in FARS. Because this is where our sulfur mines are. Unless we want to produce them in Arabistan, we have capacity but no mines. Alright, so fertilizer plants. Let's do 2. Explosives factories, let's do 2. Let's intersperse them. And let's set a decree. I can remove the decrees in these other areas at this stage. Yes, we're good. Beautiful. So now, although we made the munitions plants in Tabriz, that was dumb. We'll put another munitions plant here in Fars, just to spread them out a little bit. And at that point, alright, beautiful. Merv? Oh, you're already in the process of being incorporated. Alright, beautiful. So once that's done, we'll be able to, I think at that point, I'll be fully skirmish infantry pilled. It would be nice to round out some of these numbers, but it's not strictly speaking necessary, so I'm not going to do it. And I do have the form power block button, but when you're only a major and you're forming a power block, it's quite bad. All right, we're doing okay. If we can get literacy further up, which we can do, we can start progressing. If we can get out of slavery, we can start progressing. Currently, we're just a little bit hard up. There's stock exchange. Excellent. Now, is there anything more we can... Oh, right. We were going to do charity hospitals. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. While we wait for our landowners to cool off. Oh, shit. Actually, now's a really good time to go to... I take it back, charity hospitals. I need to go to per-capita taxation. Alright, I think I can make this happen. I got 20% chance and the peasant movement are helping. So I think I'm going to make this happen. And this is going to really boost up our finances in a way that is very, very good for us. I'm paying a lot in interest right now, but I'm building myself an important industry. So to kickstart demand and whatnot, let's get our livestock ranches producing fertilizer and our farms using soil enriching farming. This is going to drive a huge spike in fertilizer demand, but we're about to finish our first fertilizer plant, so that's just going to work. That's going to be pretty normal. It's going to be normal. We're all going to be in a good spot. What's our debt? 2 million. It could be worse. Could be better. Opium addiction event once again. Azerbaijani people in Tabriz. I'm going to hit the tragic button once again because I don't have another option. I'm really hoping for this because this is gonna be a little bit of an antidote for our finances, and getting off of land-based taxation is more and more critical as the game goes on, because what we need to have is the thing about land-based taxation is it's only on people who are peasants, and that number goes down as the game goes on, or it's chiefly on peasants. Temporary embarrassment. Debate. Ambitious middle strata citizens are opposing per capita taxation on the grounds that when they inevitably become wealthy capitalists, they will be excessively taxed. Why are you opposing the law, my friend? You're not rich. Not yet, but as soon as my next business venture takes off, I will be a wealthy man. And when that happens, I surely would not want to be taxed so highly. They should be more realistic. Extra enactment success chance. Increased minimum expected standard of living for the middle strata. 5% of middle stratum pops in Persia become more radical. Or sway them with a tax cut. Short-term tax cuts is added. Okay, what are you? Reduce tax collection. It says they're set to expire over time. I'm just gonna say they should be more realistic. 5%'s okay, 10%'s okay, and I don't want to get stuck with a penalty that says it's temporary. You know how these games are. They say they're temporary and then they're not. It's a headache. It's a real headache. Oh wow, I need to expand coal production. I'm crazy short on coal. Are my mines running? My mines are running. And Tabriz once again needs more infrastructure, which is fine. I'm happy to build more railways here in Tabriz. I'm just addicted. I'm addicted to building stuff. Cashflow is doing okay while the investment pool is building 2 things on their own. But again, keeping things running is the goal. All right, now that I've got an explosive supply, let's go to skirmish infantry. Let's properly go to skirmish infantry. I also think I want to activate these higher mobilization methods. This is ultimately going to make wars a lot more expensive for me, but it's also really going to increase my ability to win wars and to deter European powers from coming over here trying to shoot at me. Which again is the goal, right? Like with armies, it is not critical to always be... Hey, excellent. It is not critical with armies to always be using them. In fact, you don't want to be using them a lot of the time. They are a necessity, but not for economic reasons. They're a necessity because you need to have them in order to make sure that somebody doesn't come and shoot at you. Doing things like taking over territories that are part of another country without getting intervention from a European power is another function of armies. So, we've got our explosives factories being built now. I got coal mines in the queue. So how much have I changed goods for military buildings? Alright, I've significantly spiked military prices, but part of that is that munitions are currently extremely expensive. And the reason that's happening is because my munitions... Hold on. I have munitions plants running. Right, they're having a hard time because I'm not producing enough explosives. But I should have a sufficiency of explosives now. Alright, let's get our explosives plants, our explosives factories subsidized. And our fertilizer plants too. And what I'm going to do... Now, I'm bringing in a lot of fertilizer. I'm bringing in some fertilizer. I'm actually going to tariff fertilizer from abroad. And hopefully that'll help me develop my own supply chain here. Yeah, because these places got to be hiring. Ooh, we're actually in adoption. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! And we're almost at 0 infamy. So I could go after Vergana if I wanted. Yeah. It's 25. Let's do it. I realize I'm completely outrunning myself financially, but again, I could have easily... Ooh, I need more food industries to support my armies. Alright, so now I've got a sulfur shortage, which is fine, because we can simply build up more sulfur in Fars. I'm going to intersperse these with the coal mines in Iraqi Ajami. I'm also on the extra railway in Tabriz. I think I might be outrunning my infrastructure capacity in Fars. No, we're good. Iraqi Ajami, we're also good. Alright. Grassroots support for the law. The political wills and desires of the lower classes will always remain an opaque matter. For whatever reason, support for per-capita taxation spread like wildfire across Persia, spurred on by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. They're backing what now? Well, who are we to complain? While their support was never a prerequisite for success, it sure doesn't hurt to have it either. Public enthusiasm expedites reform, increased enactment success chance, armed forces stronger, or use this common ground to calm the masses. 20% of lower-stern pops in northern Baluchistan become more loyalist. I'm going to go with the first one. 20% enactment success chance is very, very good. That should hopefully get us there within a pretty tight time frame. Peasant movement organizes in northern Baluchistan. Organizers affiliated with the peasant movement have embarked on a focused campaign to inspire support for homesteading in northern Baluchistan. Residents of every region in the world like to say that their home has a long and unique history of tight-knit community. The organizer almost agreed. The problem, of course, was that said community often did not extend to outsiders. He'd been thrown out on his ear more times than he could count, but he persisted nonetheless. If he could introduce the right phrase into the right circles, perhaps even an idea that had been rejected out of hand at first would begin to find purchase. There are plenty of willing ears in northern Baluchistan, stronger peasant movement, increased pop political strength, and radicals from political movements in northern Baluchistan, or they must be concerned with far more grounded things. The peasant movement does not get stronger, and the other modifiers are halved. I'm going to pick the first one. I'm happy with the stronger peasant movement. Radicalism is going down. When I'm done with all these reforms, I may eventually put the landowners fully into the government so that I can get some legitimacy going, and that should hopefully decrease radicalism in the country, because radicalism in the country is significant at this stage, and I don't want to put myself in a big headache. Oh my goodness. There's a Qing modernist revolt, and I don't have the ability to step in. Which is unfortunate, because I would love to support modernists. Well, I don't know that I necessarily would. The less Great Qing is modern, maybe the better for me. Because I'm trying to modernize, and I'm rather desperately working at it. Okay, things are really alright. I need to stop building new stuff. But I've just got to build sulfur and coal mines. And I've got a lead shortage. Oh, heck. And there's romanticism, and there's per capita taxation. Beautiful. That is just lovely. Ooh, Ooh, actually, and our Shia Ulema are headed up by an authoritarian now, which means that we have a righteous government. Why can't I do charity hospitals? Because I canceled it before, because I'm a big goober. Alright, so we're almost finished colonizing Turkmenia. We've nearly gotten a hold of Fergana, and that means that Restore Merv is nearly finished. We need an urban center there, and we do not yet have one. Unfortunately, I don't think we've got the cash flow to really build one up at this stage, so I think we're going to simply do as we are currently doing until the time is right. Ooh, industrialists are now influential. Excellent. We have the industrialists running in the country. That's good. Armed forces have fallen away again. That's okay. All right, beautiful. So once again, all right, and it's only Karasmia that we haven't finished, and yeah, in order to restore Merv, we need a level 2 urban center. All right, beautiful. So from here, we're doing okay with sulfur. Again, we'll put a little tariff in here to make sure that our native industry gets produced. Spending quite a bit on subsidies now. But maybe I don't actually need them. Let's desubsidize these food industries. I don't need to subsidize the tooling industry. I suppose I do need to subsidize fertilizer. Although I'm not sure why. Because it's because the heckin' sulfur is so expensive. That's why. That's why I'm subsidizing fertilizer. I knew it was for a reason. And then the explosives. Where's the explosive situation? You're a industrial good. Interesting. I'm overproducing explosives, but I can subvene export of explosives to sell my bombs further afield. Finally, I want to do a little bit of building up and cleaning my army situation. I want to round out these numbers, and once these numbers are rounded out, what I want to do after that is increase my artillery proportionality. Because having a higher proportion of artillery is quite critical for modern warfare. And again, long-term, that's going to be very important because we're going to need to be fighting some modern wars as time goes by here. We finally got ourselves up to skirmish infantry, and that is very important medium term. Five weeks. All right, we're very close to being able to change up the health system, and that'll also be good. Actually, it's interesting. The modernists are winning over here in eastern China, although in the west over by me, they're losing. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. All right, let's go ahead and hit this. 11 days. All right. I'm jumping the gun. I'm sorry. It's too tempting. It's too tempting. When's the Sepoy mutiny happening? It should be any minute now, right? You gonna fight your you gonna explode, India? You gonna pop? You gonna go kablam? All right, charity hospitals away. We've only got a 2% stall chance on this, so it shouldn't be too bad. Ooh, I could put a consumption tax on transportation. But I think it'd actually be more efficient to do one on luxury furniture and then save the other, save the authority for decrees. I could do a negotiation to get the industrialists on my side here, but I don't think I need them for now. I think at the moment, they're weak enough that it's not going to matter. I've got a little bit of bureaucratic capacity. I don't actually need to increase colonial affairs. I finished colonizing Turkmenia, and I don't have the ability to colonize, Turkmenia, and I don't have the ability to colonize Urals because Russia's got that area claimed. So I think we're just sitting pretty from a colonization perspective. So maybe we go ahead and increase law enforcement? Or maybe we leave it be? Maybe we just leave it be. I think when these barracks are finished, we stop building for a while, because that is going to be... consideration already. Wonderful. Because that's going to be critical. Actually... what do I need industrially? I could use more tooling workshops. Let's go ahead and build those up in Merv, because Merv needs an urban center. Oman is supporting separatism. Stop it. Ya goobers, stop it. Why? How could you? How could you? Why? Why must you? They're Bedouin. They're Bedouins. Okay. I don't think we have too high of a Bedouin population, so I don't think that's necessarily going to be an issue. I think when we get to the end of this year, I'll put a pin in the episode, because we're actually north of 3 hours now. We've gotten a very healthy amount of progress in here, and I'm feeling pretty good about the future. I'm at 164 prestige. I'm still below the Ottoman. Wait a minute. Did the Ottoman Empire win the Tanzimat? No, they got another 10 years now. They've got another 10 years. They did. They did. They retained their great power status. Well, that's exciting. That's very exciting. That unlocks shell gun for artillery foundries. We're definitely going to use that method. I'm always going to increase the method for military buildings. Health taxes. With the calls for some form of healthcare system, many are questioning whether the money for setting up the new healthcare system will come from. Some are suggesting simply taking it out of our tax funds, while others insist the government should find another way to cover the costs. Let me get this straight. You expect us not only to pay for our own healthcare, but someone else's as well? I don't want the money I pay in taxes to be used so some random farmers can be able to get healthcare. That's not my responsibility. I have my own health and family to think of. I can't possibly afford to look after everyone else in Persia as well. Take it from the tax funds. Industrialists mad. Costs some tax income. 20% active success chance. The government should cover the costs. Significant government expenses, but not that significant. An increase in active success chance. Or we can get by without it, just some active success chance. I'm actually going to go with the third one. I don't want the penalties, and my stall chance here is so low that I'm actually really not at all concerned about this. I think the chance of actually needing to... I think my chance of actually having a problem getting this law passed is so minuscule, and I'm happy to take as long as it needs to do it. And it looks like the modernists are actually going to win in China, so we're going to see. We're going to see how that goes. I'm going to improve relations with the modernist revolt, because it seems like the war is going their way. And, we'll see what comes of that. That having been said, it has been a long recording session, and I need to get some shut-eye. We've made ourselves a stonking thick Persia. We've nearly completed the Eastern Frontier event chain here. Oh. Well, perhaps I'll be able to purchase Kharazmia from the Russians. Actually, one more thing before we do this. $240. Are you? Why is this so low? Why is this so much? Like, my understanding of this diplomatic system was that it was going to be designed so that you could get stuff out of countries, particularly stuff that's like a tiny thing that they don't. I'm salty. I'm big salty. It's okay. It's okay. Well, we'll deal with it next time. For now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.